Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Heel Team 6 Wrestling is proud to present the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. It is I, your quintessential Puerto Rican muffin, Jorge. As always, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Bodega Wrestling. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell for your notifications, and also don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Bodega Wrestling. As always, I am joined today by one co-host. He's the man of 1,000 podcasts, the man from the Carolinas, the new voice of the LFC. We call him Michael Larkin, but everybody knows him as BUB KUZTUZ because he knows a lot about everything. Also, he has a new nickname as the White Hip Hopper because the dude has more line than a machine gun. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Michael Larkin. Mr. Larkin, what's up, sir?
I'm well, and I gotta tell you something. I know you'll appreciate this, Jorge. So your boys at Souls of Mischief were 93 till infinity. I'm 92 until infinity because I was born in 92, so I just remixed it.
Oh, shoot. I gotta hear that remix.
Yes. Oh, 92 till infinity. 92
to infinity. And also, I just remember, rest in peace to Mr. Bushwick Bill.
Yes.
Who passed away yesterday after numerous reports that he had passed away. But then they found out that he was still fighting pancreas cancer. And then later on last night, he finally succumbed to the disease. So, to all the family, his friends, the hip-hop community who listens to the Ghetto Boys for the last 25 years, they will not be the same. I'm hoping that they have some new music coming out before he passed away. Because, right now, since today, I've been rocking everything from Ghetto Boys. So once again, rest in peace to Bushwick Bill. I want to say he was 42? 52. Oh, wow, okay. 52.
Well, still young, though.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was in the 40s, though. Yeah, so 52. So the dude was like 4-something, but the dude was a giant in the hip-hop game.
Yeah, he was short. He was like 4'6", 4'5". But still,
man,
he could go, man. He was one of the great rappers.
Yeah,
he'll be missed.
Yeah, the man was a giant in the hip-hop game. So once again, Bushwick will rest in peace, brother. And this episode we dedicated for you if you were a wrestling fan up in heaven. So without further ado, let's go, Mr. Larkin. And we'll start with the state of Major League Wrestling, which is MLW, man. MLW just have, once again, they had the little live hour show last week. They are kicking butt on that show. They have a young nucleus, man. A lot of young guys. They have a lot of feuds. They have the Hart Foundation, which as we know is Brian Pillman Jr., Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Teddy Hart Jr. Even though he's not a junior, he's probably the brother of everybody of the Harts. And now you got that other group called, what's it called again, Markin?
The Von Erichs?
No, the Dynasty.
Oh,
the Hart Foundation. Well, they got the Hart Foundation, and then they got the Dynasty with MJF and Hammerstone.
Oh yes, the Dynasty.
And
yes,
those guys, MFJ and Hammerstone, and I know they got, I can't remember his name, but those guys they're young, they're good looking, they're in the prime of their lives. Man,
I'll head to that, man. I'll be honest with you. As soon as you said Dynasty, I'm like, Hart Dynasty. Yeah, I saw that new group with MJF, Alexander Hammerstone, who actually was just on Impact not too long ago. He did an Explosion match. He's been on Ring Warriors. Ariel Lake is in there. There's a lot of talented people in there, man.
Yeah, man. That those two duos and that one group that I love, the Contra Unit.
Yes.
My God, those guys. Except for I'm not a big Simon Gotch fan. I love the other two guys though. Jacob Fatu and what's the other guy's name? I went blank on the guy's name.
Yeah, I know Lance. I know.
Yeah, it's Joseph Samuel. Joseph Samuel, Jacob Fatua, and Simon Josh. Yeah, but I'm not a fan of God.
Jorge, what's crazy about him is that's the guy who's like the owner of like PCW Ultra, who's in California.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does a lot of work in the PCW Ultra.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Learn something new every day. But that contract unit, man, those guys are beasts, and they're out there jumping everybody left and right. I mean, they're like they're going up against everybody, and then they're going against El Dorado Promotion, which is our home girl Salinas de la Renta. That fine little Puerto Rican thing, woo, melts my heart every time I see her. Just turned 23 years old, man, and that girl is more powerful than any man out here. I mean, this girl is taking over for Conan. I mean, Conan has taken under her wing. She has been a wrestler. She's a manager. She's producing shows. I believe the next week's show, she's also another one of her producing. So that will be her second show that she's producing. Now she's become the liaison for the MLW and the Mexican AAA wrestling out there. So they're bringing a lot of guys, and I don't know if people know, but it should be out by now. But she's bringing in Dr. Warner Jr. and his son for a show, I believe, at the end of this month or beginning of next month. So that's huge, man. Dr. Warner Jr. in the States. That man is the equivalent of LA Park or bigger in Mexico. So I mean, the girl is doing her thing. I mean, that whole wrestling is doing their thing. I know they're kind of stuck on a EFI channel, being sports. Yep. I don't know if everybody gets that, but I mean, they're doing their thing, man. And it's only been an hour show, and they've been improving. They already hit a 1 year mark. They were doing the shows during the week, and now they are actually now doing the shows on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, to get that money, because they know people get paid on Fridays. So they have the shows now on the weekends, having those hour live shows on the weekends to sell that merchandise, you know. So they're actually getting that money coming in, and hopefully in the future, man, you know, they can actually get some kind of streaming service or get a better TV channel where people can see them, man. But Mr. Larkin, my question to you is, what do you think of MLW, man? I mean, do you watch the product on a weekly basis? I mean, if you do, what do you think?
Personally, I have to actually thank you for this, Jorge, because you're the one who always tells us about the MLW news, and I do check it out. I look at the social media and the highlights, and I listen to what you have to say. Personally, I think it's a great product. I think you're going to get a lot of big things come from MLW. I think what Selena De La Renta is doing is awesome. I mean, Dr. Wagner Jr., we saw what Dr. Wagner could do, and Lucha Underground and AAA all in all, so I think that's a great addition. Like you mentioned with the LA Park thing, there's so many great talents there, like MJF, what he's doing in AEW and MLW. You have a great product that, you know, has a lot of potential. I mean, it ended, then it came back with a bang, and it came back with a purpose, and I think they're looking to take over. I mean, you get to see their full shows on YouTube. Being sports, the network is kind of iffy, but I mean, for those who are very internet-oriented and want to see a product on YouTube, check out MLW's YouTube page. I mean, like we mentioned, the Hart Dynasty there, the Hart Foundation with Brian Pillman Jr., Teddy Hart, David Hart Smith. You got the Von Erichs in there, man. The Von Erichs, those matches that those teams could have, you know, the Contra unit. So many great athletes, and I think it's just such a great time for wrestling. I know this is all going to blend together, and we'll get to more topics here, but you have a lot of hungry talents in there that want to just put on the best show possible, and I think MLW is going to be doing that. And I mean, it's great. I really have no complaints with it. From what I've seen, I've been impressed, and it's very enjoyable to see.
Now you mentioned the Von Erichs, and I forgot about that because I know they're going to be teaming with Dirty Tim or Dirty Tom, what's his name?
Dirty Tom Lawler?
Yeah, or Filthy Tom Lawler. And they're going to be teaming with the Von Erichs. I'm kind of upset that Impact Wrestling, which is my company, kind of dropped the ball and didn't sign these guys a while back. Since they've been on Impact before, especially what was that, Slammiversary a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think Slammiversary 2014 or 2015 when they fought the Bromans.
Yeah, and the father of Ken Von Erich came out, man, and did the claw. Oh my God. Dude, that was just brought so much memories with that he pulled that claw out. They dropped the ball. I mean, these guys, I mean, I know they were green at that time, but they have went and started wrestling in Noah and went to the Japan strictly and started winning, belts out there and crafting their talent. So now they're back in the States, and MLW did a great signing by these guys that picked them up, and also MLW signed Flamita from out there from Mexico. So we just lost out on somebody else, So, and I'm pretty sure, if you notice, all the Mexican Latinos that are coming in are signing with Salina. So she got the powerful Latino stable. Except now Loki kind of left the stable now, so which kind of sucks. I'm like, that blows, but it is what it is, man.
I will add to that actually, Jorge, because I did see that's a great addition for MLW, because I did see Flamita's work when he. How do we stand for Impact during WrestleMania weekend? That's another great addition, man.
Yeah. So I mean, slowly but surely, man, they're picking up people. So we'll see what the future holds. By the end of the year, hopefully, everybody's competing. And if you can see, you see everybody with their apps, their streaming services. So hopefully, they are using YouTube to its advantage. Well, maybe somebody out there, whoever got the money, will say, okay, guys, let's take the next step and see what happens. So. But we'll see what happens. So we move on to All Elite Wrestling.
Wait, hold on a second. Before we move on, I gotta talk one other thing about MLW. Speaking of Selena De La Renta, what'd you think about that photo shoot she did with Amber Nova?
Hey, man. Her, yes. Amber Nova, yeah. You gotta take her out of the equation. Just fold. If anybody buys the 8x10s of both of them, just fold the middle and cut Amber Nova out, because she had one picture there with some granny undies,
granny panties, sorry,
whatever. And I'm like, does she got a diaper on? When the first time when I saw it, I said, does she got a diaper on? Or I'm like, nah. If anybody finds that attractive, I applaud you. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has their different tastes, but my God, that is not my taste. But but I digress, and I'm going to keep digressing until I get full later. So can we move on now? Because you just messed up my head, bro.
Sorry, man.
All right. So let's move to All Elite Wrestling, the least favorite wrestling company on Twitter. Next to the WWE is All Elite Wrestling. As we know, they finally became a full wrestling company, not just a merchandise company. So they had their first pay-per-view Double or Nothing, and anybody could say what they want to say, but the show was unbelievable. The crowd was hot. It was the beginning of something that we're hoping is gonna blow up in the future. Get the wars against the WWE, get all that stuff like that. But a week or 2 weeks later after the pay-per-view, now we have the numbers that we could see how good the show was. Last year, when they did the all-in show, that sold, I want to say, like between 50,000 pay-per-views buys. This one here has already gone over 100. I think it hit like 104 so far, and it's still 110, and it's still growing. And people might say, well, what does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything. That's just numbers. It means a lot, because if we know, WWE has the WWE Network, which for $9.95 you get all the pay-per-views. So they changed the game when they moved away from the standard pay-per-view buys. The only people that do pay-per-views now are the the mixed martial arts, UFC and stuff like that. The boxing still do stuff like that for $44.95, $60 or whatever. So for them to still do a old-fashioned pay-per-view wrestling show at $49 and somewhere $60, and you get 110,000 buys, dude, that means a lot.
It does, and I mean, I look at it like what they did with that show. I know everybody was like, "Oh, it's just a first show. I'll see what happens when it comes on TNT." Look, for a first show, they delivered. We're gonna get Fyter Fest. We're gonna see Young Bucks against the Rhodes Brothers. We're gonna see the Young Bucks against the Lucha Brothers and a partner of their choice in a 6-man tag, along with Kenny Omega as the Young Bucks partner. You're gonna see MJF Adam Page, Jimmy Havoc, and the whole nine there in a fatal four-way that we saw that took place from what happened at All or Nothing, and Jungle Boy's in there. We're going to see Jon Moxley versus Joey Janela for the first time. We're probably going to see Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega at All Out. Adam Page and Jericho for the inaugural AEW Championship. There's a lot that they have. I mean, they're going to probably add more people and bring some more people in. I think for their first show, obviously it shows that they did very well. Let's just see what happens with Fyter Fest coming up. And then we got All Out in August, and then October's the TV deal on TNT. So, I mean, the future's looking bright for them. Let's see what they can do going forward.
Yeah, I mean, so 110 pay-per-views.
Yep.
What do you think of that number when you think about how wrestling doesn't do pay-per-views that much anymore? And the only one who does is the martial arts stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, the mixed martial arts stuff obviously is big. But I mean, for a wrestling pay-per-view, I think that's absolutely incredible. I mean, most of the stuff, look at WWE. All they do now is everything's on the network. It's not even pay-per-views anymore. It's a network special, Jorge, how you want to really define it. But I mean, look at what they've done. I think that's absolutely amazing. I mean, for just a start-out company for their first show, and I mean, just like I mentioned, going forward, I think that's absolutely that's a hell of a start.
Now, do you think is it because fans are real fans that want to watch it, or was it more of a let me see what's going to happen here, more of an interest level?
I'm going to say a mixture of both. I think it's fans that want to see and want an alternative for pro wrestling. They don't want that WWE, what they're doing now. They want the alternative in pro wrestling, more raw, more edge to it. And I think it's just a lot of the curiosity factor of the fans. Like, let me see what this is all about. So I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay. Now, to stay in AEW and a mixture of New Japan Wrestling, we've seen Mr. Ambrose or Jon Moxley now, how he transitioned into New Japan on his first match with the Juice Robinson. He becomes the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. He just had a match at Dominion 2 days ago, where he beat one of the Young Lions. Now he threw his hat into the ring for the G1. He wants to be part of that. And then people are saying, well, can wrestlers from other companies like WWE who have been stuck in one type of style leave and go to Japan and succeed? And I think we've seen that now, that he can. And do you think this will be the thing going forward, that now wrestlers who are WWE see him and go like, damn, I could do that too, so I'm gonna wait till my contract is up and jump ship? Do you see that happening, and if you do you think all of them will be successful in doing that jump?
I think it depends on who the superstar is. I mean, I think absolutely they'll be successful. I mean, Jon Moxley's bringing eyes on the New Japan product. I mean, look at what he's done. Like you mentioned, he comes in, he wins the title right away. He did what AJ Styles did this first match in New Japan. He won the title. Okay, he won a championship. He won the World Heavyweight Championship. And now Ambrose comes in, beats Juice Robinson. He beat the Young Lion at, Dominion. And now we're going to see him in the G1. I absolutely think that's a possibility and opens a lot of doors for people to say, hey, if Jon Moxley can do it, I can do it too. And I mean, you look at what Jon Moxley said. He's in the G1. The winner of the G1 tournament gets to fight Okada, or whoever the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion is, going into Wrestle Kingdom in January. I think that's a fresh matchup, and I think a lot of people, and I think there's that want to see it. I think there's a lot of money in a Kazuchika Okada and Jon Moxley matchup for that championship.
Oh, that's going to be huge. Now, talking about New Japan Wrestling, Dominion was an amazing show.
It was.
I saw it, once again, to means that are not, of the regular people. But, sometimes you got to, even $10 is hard nowadays. But I saw Dominion. We saw Kenta is back in Japan.
Yes.
Oh my God, that gave me goosebumps when I saw Kenta come out with Shibata. Oh my God, Kenta's back, where he belongs in Japan. And he threw his hat the G1 also. And I know you said you had an interesting story about him.
So what's interesting about Kenta is, I've seen this guy all over the place. I've seen him go against Bryan Danielson, the former Daniel Bryan. His work in Ring of Honor. WWE, the problem with WWE is, dude, he kept getting hurt. He hurt Brian Kendrick, so they had to ban the GTS for him to use the GTS because he broke Brian Kendrick's nose. The problem with him, he was just getting injured. And I think he tried to Americanize his style in WWE. It didn't work. So he said, all right, I'm done. And he got his release. He was professional about it. Then he went to Japan. Now he's back in New Japan, which I'm very excited about. There's so many matches he could have. Katsuyori Shibata, it's unfortunate what happened with him in his match with Okada. You know, he suffered a subdural hematoma, which now I don't think he can wrestle anymore. But he's helping coach and work with these people. So you keep Katsuyori Shibata around. This is a guy that's been wrestling since '99, a 20-year vet. And now you got Kenta coming in, who's another vet. He's wrestled all over the world, and that's a big name for him. Whether he goes for Jon Moxley for the U.S. title, Okada, there's so many great matchups that you could see with Kenta. I'm very happy to see what he does in the G1 tournament as well.
Yeah, so I'm kind of working my nerve up to the other one, the main event of the Mania.
Hold on, before you even get there, Jorge, I will say this.
Yes.
So, listeners of the Bodega Wrestling Podcast, like Jorge, I did not watch the show on New Japan World. I did also go through some nefarious means to watch the show, but hey, we watched the show we're talking about. And I'll be honest with you, my ass is not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch that show. I'll watch it later in the day. Thank you very much. I need my sleep. So I did watch the show like you did. And, that main event.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it from here.
Well, I it's Chris Jericho. I mean,
yes.
Chris Jericho. Just the name alone is Chris Jericho. And he goes again, the Rainmaker Okada, which I love Okada. And we all know Impact Wrestling dropped the ball big time with this dude, but we digress again. Yeah, but when you saw the names on the paper, Okada against Jericho, you instantly thought, "Oh my God, this is gonna be a 10-star match. This is gonna break all the ratings of any stars."
Break the Meltzer scale.
That's what I was thinking. Unfortunately, it didn't translate like that on paper to the actual match. I think I was in negative stars. By the time I finished watching that match, there was literally no chemistry whatsoever between those two wrestlers. This has to be the worst match I ever seen Okada in. And plus the worst main event match I've seen in New Japan in a long, long time. And I'm a New Japan lover. I love New Japan. I do stay up late. Since I sleep late anyways, so I do watch some of the shows and stuff like that, for years. But this one here, I don't know, man. This was just bad. Now, do you think was a mixture of they just didn't click?
Okay, so I'll break it down like this. So
Maybe
as someone who was watching this with his parents, my dad said best. He said that match was very pedestrian. My mom just couldn't believe the fact that Chris Jericho got big as he did, and she was very happy that Okada won because my mom is a Kazuchika Okada fan. So we all watched that match, and I watched him DDT him on the announce table like he did with Tetsuya Naito in their match, and he did the stuff with the cameraman and Umaga and Okada. They just it was kind of bleh for me. Or I don't know if it was that they didn't click it, or it was just kind of like, I expected more from them. And I mean, the finish was just, they ducked, they did the sequence there, and the finish was very reminiscent of British Bulldog Bret Hart at friggin' SummerSlam in 1992 at Wembley Arena. Just, he pulls the legs 1, 2, 3, and then he wins. So I mean, it was kind of like it had a nowhere finish that was kind of wonky, so I'm kind of like, whatever. I mean, we got to see Jericho hit the Judas effect. We got to see him hit the Code Breaker as he was, Okada was going through over the guardrail. You have to see a lot of Rainmakers, spiked tombstones, but I mean, still, it wasn't one of my favorite Kazuchika Okada matches and Chris Jericho matches at that point.
Do you think the match itself brought down the whole show? I mean, the show as a whole. If you take that match out,
yeah,
and you think Dominion and take that match out, it was a 5-star event period from beginning to end. And then you add that match to the show.
Then you have that match.
Yeah.
Then you have that match. It goes down to like a 4. Yeah, it goes down. I'm sorry, it goes down to like a 4-star, 4.5 because that match was so bleh. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, look at the top 3 matches we had. We saw Will Ospreay beat Dragon Lee. That was amazing. Ooh. And oh my God, Naito winning, but that bump Kota Ibushi took that German on tape. My God.
I thought he killed them. I thought that dude was dead.
I'm like, he's got to be like hurt or whatever, but no, he continued.
And there was no concussion or nothing like that afterwards? Like, no nobody.
He was fine.
Wow. Dude, I saw that too. I was holding my head, my neck, my back.
Well, then Kota got him in like whatever move that he did afterwards. When he friggin' dropped friggin' Naito on his head, I'm like, Jesus.
I said, this is a payback for that.
This is a receipt.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, man. But that Dragon Lee and Ospreay. Yes. I've watched wrestling for a long time. I watch every day, different types, Lucha Libre, Fly, whatever you call them, arrows. That match did a lot of stuff. I was like, wow. That you normally see, but they just kind of transcended it more. Now I can't wait to see Dragon Lee go up against Dalton Castle over here, Ring of Honor next pay-per-view.
I mean, we're in for a treat with that one. I think the only other thing that we didn't mention with New Japan Dominion, because I'm like, fans, if you have not seen it, go check out New Japan Dominion. But the ending with the Jericho Okada thing, we did see, he beats him down after the match, and Hiroshi Tanahashi comes off the commentary, and he goes after Jericho. So I'm thinking, if it's not before Wrestle Kingdom, I mean, Jericho's been coming into New Japan taking on the big names. We are in for a Chris Jericho Hiroshi Tanahashi match.
Like, what's the next big show before Wrestle Kingdom?
I mean,
everything is G1 now, right? From the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, the next show that they're doing is Australia, and Will Ospreay that said he wanted to fight Robbie Eagles in Australia for their next Australia show. But everything in between that is like, yeah, it's just like it's a show. I mean, the next real big show is Wrestle Kingdom in January. Yeah.
So maybe they'll wait till then.
Or the G1 Climax is over the summer. Maybe they'll have it at G1 Climax.
Yeah, in the States maybe, because I know they're coming back and hitting more towns here in the I love them coming to the States, but I'm kind of tired that it's always down in the West Coast.
Oh yeah, it's always in California.
Dude, enough of what happened to the people on the East Coast on the middle? Like we don't like you guys. Like we loved you guys. Come up here.
Yeah, except well, technically we got that with the Madison Square Garden show, but yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't count that because that was a joint show.
I know, but
I want a full New Japan show by themselves. Come upstate. Well, our money's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Come down.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, go East Coast. Go to Philly. Go to New York. Come down south. But yeah, everything is always so California.
Yeah. L.A., San Francisco. Damn, I don't live in all those places. Too damn far for me. Anyways, once again, I digress. But another funny thing when you were talking about Naito and Ibushi, and how I asked if he received a broken neck or a concussion after that move, and you said no, and we haven't heard anything, which makes me now laugh and move to the next question about the Goldberg Undertaker match, where you see that match and you saw that the New Japan, and he got that and nothing happened to him, but you blew on Goldberg and he got a concussion.
All right.
Like a concussion on Goldberg. So my thing was this: I was at work, and I'm pretty sure you were working too when they were doing this Saudi Arabia thing that they do.
Yeah.
People hate it. A lot of wrestlers hate it. We don't know. I don't know if you want to believe the rumors that Meltzer was texting some people, and they said that this thing was horrible. That this thing is the worst thing ever. Nobody likes doing it, but nobody has the balls to say no. Blah 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 blah. The show still do it. It's packed, so they're making their money. It's packed, so money's being made. No matter how, if it's blood money, if it's this or that. I don't get into politics. I don't know shit about none of that stuff. It's money's money. If it's a different color, you could wash it and it's still green. Go spend it. It's still money. But the Goldberg Undertaker match. Hey, dude, I'm a wrestling fan. I was goosebumps. Oh my God, Goldberg Undertaker. Oh my God, it's 20 years late, but damn it, it's still Goldberg against Undertaker. I got home from work, and all Twitter is saying all the gifs and the memes of all the botch moves and botch moves and botch moves, and I'm like, what is going on? It's Goldberg Undertaker. They should have put at least a nice 10-minute, match or something, and then I finally, go see it once again through, memes, and this match is horrible. I mean, there's people slipping and sliding, botching moves. I thought I was watching a Sasha Banks match. except she wasn't in the match. And we know she's the queen of botches, but these people just took it afar. Now I'm thinking, now my question to you is this. Does this match, which I'm hoping this is Goldberg's last match, and maybe Undertaker's last match, does this match being their end, does this take away from their career as, wow, this is how it ends?
Okay. So watching that match, Goldberg going into the turnbuckle, the metal part of it, busting himself open, with that shot. I'm going to say this. He even apologized for what happened on Twitter. He did make the post on Twitter that we all saw. Matt Riddle was going at friggin' Goldberg for the knee bar and all this. Oh, my God.
Big time.
Oh, my God. But anyway, so I watched this match, and I'm like, they should have stopped the match. But he wanted to continue, Bill Goldberg, and so they continued, and we got – the spears were great. The spears were great, but then – he's so out of it that he goes for the jackhammer and he doesn't go all the way up with it because he can barely hold him, and he's shaking and he legit collapsed after the match. But after he's doing the jackhammer, he drops Taker on his neck, and Taker winces. And the finish was supposed to be he's supposed to lift him up, and then Taker reverses and goes for the tombstone, but Taker drops him because Goldberg's so out of it. So he's like, fuck it, chokeslam 1, 2, 3, and then afterwards you see his face I came all the way here for this. And you can tell Undertaker was pissed about this. So I think this is probably the last time that you will see this matchup. And I'm rightfully so, because I think they both were pissed at the outcome. I think if he had not got hurt, Goldberg, I think we would have seen a different, outlook of the match. I'm sure Taker still would have went over, but I mean, my God, man, that was the shits. And it's unfortunate. I really felt bad for both of them in that scenario.
Now, when Taker did the finisher on him, not the chokeslam, but the tombstone.
Well, the two.
And you
saw that was because
Goldberg
couldn't tuck his head on that. Yeah, but Goldberg couldn't tuck his head because he was so out of it. So Taker dropped him on his head.
Well, shouldn't also maybe he would have put his hand on the, which I've seen other wrestlers do. They kind of put their hands under their head, so when they go down.
That definitely should have happened as well, man. But it's just it was a shit fest. That's all I can say. It was a shit fest. Or maybe he wasn't too happy about, I don't know, that was his receipt for getting dropped on his neck. I don't know. But either way, I know both of them were not very happy with the outcome of that match. But yeah, I agree with you on that.
Now with fans, do you think them, both of those guys, do you think they'll end it this way, or do you think their pride will say, something, I don't want it to end it this way. I want to have one more match with somebody else where I can actually go out looking better than that?
I'm going to say it's the pride factor, that they want to go out looking better than that. I mean, whatever it is, I don't know, but whatever. And by the way, I got to say this to you. You actually made me laugh at what you said, because on Max Wrestling UK, we talk about it being Blood Money 3. So I laughed at the Blood Money comment, Jorge. That was very funny. But I also got to say this to you. I don't know if you saw the whole show, but Haben Mansour, who was from the local from Saudi Arabia, winning the battle.
I didn't know who the hell that was, but I saw him at the end on YouTube. He won. That place went berserk.
Okay, so here's a little thing on Mansour for those that don't know. Mansour is a talent in NXT. They brought him there because he's from Saudi Arabia. He made his debut at the Saudi Arabia show.
Of course.
So he wins the match. They do a piece on him. And the day before that, he's getting interviewed. So I'm like, he's definitely winning this just to get the hometown feel and everybody go berserk, which they did. And Mansour has a lot of talent, man. He was the voice of one of my players, Cole Quinn, in the WWE 2K19 video game. So I mean, the dude, he's got a future, and he's got a very bright one at that. He's actually not bad. I wish him nothing but the best, but god dang, man, winning in front of his people.
Yeah, and those kids were, I mean, you saw kids crying.
Well, it's hope, man. It's hope. That's what they feel. That there's hope.
And I saw, as a matter of fact, Chelsea Blackheart, which I love, Chelsea, wrestling. She's with the green hair and from
Impact and Rise.
And then Rise. She summed it up the best when she said, "You don't have to know who he is. You don't have to like who he is. But what he just did in winning that match and jumping into the fans, he gave hope to those kids, and he gave hope to the fans that it doesn't matter where you're from, as long as you bust your ass and you believe in yourself, you can make it." And she put that either you understand or you don't. Just you'll see it, and I agree with her 100% because that's exactly what happened. I saw kids were crying there. Boy, I'm like, wow, that was a moment that is good. If this dude, what's his name again? I'm sorry.
Mansoor.
If he doesn't develop into anything big in the future, he has this. Like this is installed in everybody's mind. It's on YouTube forever. Can't take this from him. I mean, he uplifted, you know, a whole country with that victory, and the kids, these kids are going to remember this for the rest of their lives. And in maybe 10 years from now, you're going to see a kid become a wrestler, and they're going to see him in, oh, this is me when you won the thing, and now look at me, I'm wrestling him. Type of your story. So,
and I look at it like this too, because like we mentioned, that's his moment. But what's interesting about it is too, like I did also hear the story that Alexa Bliss and Natalya, they were trying to get a matchup, like the first ever match in Saudi Arabia, because you know how they feel about women and all that. So they tried, and at the last minute, they said no.
Imagine if they would have.
Imagine if they would have. Yes, I mean they've done Abu Dhabi. I mean, why not?
That place would have erupted too.
Oh my God! All the women crying and just screaming. Oh my God! Exactly.
Now, oh shit! You know something? I'm not even gonna ask the question.
Yeah. Well, what was your question?
Well, because it's kind of a political question. I don't do politics, man.
Oh, political?
Yeah. Well, I want to ask. I'm gonna ask anyways. Just
all right.
And it's out of my realm. That's why I'm asking the question, because I'm not that bright when it comes to stuff like this.
Okay.
But do you think that WWE bringing females down and they're saying no? Do you think that WWE is doing this on purpose, and the government is doing this on purpose to have them come in with the females to maybe push for things to change? That we might able to see a female wrestling match, you know, next by the end of the year with them again. Which I'm pretty sure they're going back there by the end of this year again, or next year. You know, that money's there. I mean,
absolutely. Oh, dude, I think Triple H has even said it on conference calls that he's trying to like change and try to get like work with these governments. Like, hey, let's focus on the women. Like, they're trying, man. They really are trying. I think it's just the Saudi Arabian government. I know Triple H is very big on trying to get the women down there. They want hope, man. That's the whole thing I can say. They want hope. I know they're trying to push for it.
And I'm pretty sure it's not the whole government that's against it. I'm pretty sure there's some people in the government who are fighting for this to happen, and they're just being overturned at the last, like Uncle Vince overturning everybody else at the last minute.
Yes.
You know, type of thing. Plus, this once again, what's the guy's name again? Mansoor reminds you of Impact Wrestling from 2 years ago when they went to India, and they had our boy Shira win the Sony 6 Cup there on the Battle Royal, and you saw that place explode.
Oh yeah, it's India. You're giving hope to the Indian people.
So I saw the set. I saw this before. I saw this at Impact like 2 years ago. With my boy Masahila Shira.
Oh, dude, you were scared. Exactly, huh? You were straight on with that. Look at you, Jorge. Straight on with the Sony 6 tournament. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that match because I love Shira, bro. I met him. He's cool as hell. So I was happy, and I got to talk to him, and he said that was the highlight of his life at that time. So once again, if his career doesn't blow up, he has that memory. You can't take that from him. You know, I won something, and I did it for my people in front of my home crowd.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. So once again, I'm still digressing, and I'm getting full. So let's move on to my favorite company, Impact Wrestling. Yeah. Which, you know, there's some good news. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on the last week with Impact Wrestling. I think the bad stuff outweighs the good, so let's start with the bad stuff first.
Okay.
Because I only have probably one good news from there. Everything was just bad, so let's start with the bad stuff first. And the bad stuff is, once again, our least favorite channel, Pursuit, forgot to play the right episode of this last week's Impact Wrestling show, and they instead rerun one from a couple of weeks ago. So I'm guessing somebody was a little tipsy on the job and hit the run play button on the computer. So once again, that's another black eye on Pursuit channel. And let's be honest, because I put this on Twitter last night because I was getting fed up by everybody saying, well, those are Anthem on this, and I put it how what Anthem owns only 15%.
Yeah, like very minimal.
Pursuit is a low minimal stake. That's like Dixie Carter only owning 5% of Impact, where Anthem owns 95%. It's a minority stake. So once again, they only own 15% of Pursuit, minority, which means Pursuit doesn't give two rat's ass about Impact. So if Impact is calling, dude, play the right thing. Yeah, we don't know who you are. Click. So and we're still hearing things about hopefully in the future, moving to a new channel, which we're still praying. I'm rubbing my tummy for the Buddha effect. But Mr. Larkin, what do you think of this last disrespectfulness by Pursuit channel here, and Mr. Jimmy Houston at that?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to read a snippet of that report just because I want to do this because it's you, Jorge. This came from PW Insider and Jorge, your boy, Mike Johnson.
Oh, God.
The latest era is the latest in a series of headaches for Impact since moving to the Pursuit Network. Despite Anthem owning a stake in the channel, the amount that you mentioned, Jorge, Impact has found the network to be slow to respond to questions and complaints, according to several sources. And then Impact used Pursuit as a stopgap measure, and that in the meantime they are still they're being very hopeful, and they're having a little bit of excitement about a potential deal among those in the company. There's been no confirmation anything is close to being signed. Now, with me, I'm just going to say it bluntly, they need to get off the Pursuit Network, to be honest with you. I mean, they aired last week's episode,
and then the fiasco from a couple of weeks ago from the Philly tapings where they had Big Mike and
Swan, 25 minutes.
Yeah. Playing the same Jimmy Houston commercial.
I mean, when you just don't come back, and they even said, man, they're slow with them. They're to get responses from Pursuit. They need to get off that network. They really do. And I know they're trying to get on a new network, and a lot of people are very hopeful about it, but nothing is set in stone yet. And that's where the song comes in. Do you mind if I play the song, Jorge?
Go ahead, knock yourself out, brother.
All right, here we go. That's what Impact is doing with that TV deal. Wishing, hoping it probably Dusty Springfield, man. But yeah, anyway, I digress. But so yeah, I just hope that they get a better network. I truly wish them well. But yeah, Pursuit's giving nothing but headaches. Not Jimmy Houston. Jimmy Houston doesn't give no headaches. But yeah, Pursuit's giving headaches.
Well, after 15 minutes of watching Jimmy Houston do the same thing over and over, I get tired of Jimmy Houston, brother.
How do you not want to get some of the Missouri Sugar, man? Get that best.
I don't know. But with that, and they just had their NY tapings this past Thursday and Friday of last week, where once again some more bad stuff is going on. And in one instance, the bottom rope wasn't put properly or it broke off.
Oh yeah.
And there was pictures of the ring looked like it was going in. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what the hell's going on? Is this a new ring crew? What happened to the old ring crew? Because it does not look good. And then towards the night of the second night, a fan was thrown out because he kept heckling Collins and Matthews. So that was another crazy thing going on there. And then the following night, they had it from the show and missed. What was the name of the show?
A Night You Can't Miss.
A Night You Can't Miss. And I put the video or a snip on the video on the Bodega Wrestling page on Twitter, where it actually got over 100,000 views in a day and a half. And you saw Taya Valkyrie arguing with a fan who I actually spoke to another fan earlier who on a DM who was 3 rows back, and he was saying this guy was just being beside himself the whole night. Like, this dude was just badgering, cursing at people. He finally stopped. Then he started recording the show from his phone. And then they told him to stop again. And then the little incident with Taya where he's going and cursing, and then he called her an old-fashioned hoe or something. She knocks the drink out of his hand. She turns at the same time, and the dude spits right on her back. Dude, I don't know what's going on. If it's a full moon, I know you got a song for that. So song lyrics for full moons. I know it's not just the drinks, because we heard the incidents from last week with Bully Ray and Ring of Honor, and plus there was another incident there too with a so-called sexual harassment with a heel wrestler, which then they really put that one, you know, on the bottom there, and they're trying to get that thing taken care of too. So this is like a couple of incidents with Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling now in the last 2 weeks. So I don't know if it's the alcohol, if it's the, you know, full moon, but people need to stop. I mean, boo, dude, just boo, boo. You know what? Just boo. I don't like it. Just boo. Put your hands up, flip them down with the thumb, go down, boo. That's what I do. I go boo, boo. That's all I do. I don't curse at anybody. I don't say nothing to anybody. I just boo. If I don't like you, I boo. That's it. So, Mr. Larkin, what the hell do you think happened with all this stuff going on there, bro?
And I know you like to boo because I've seen your face on all these friggin' Philly taping. So, okay. First and foremost, as far as full moon goes, I don't know. Maybe the guy was listening to some Brandy. Maybe his channel's under Brandy. What about us? You know, going back to 2001 with that joint. So I mean, and if it was another kind of moon, he'd be talking about blue moon. You saw me standing alone. I mean, who knows, man? But I mean, when you talk about Philly, I mean, this is old ECW fans that come to these House of Hardcore / Impact shows, because that's really what it was. I mean, it's House of Hardcore wrestlers on there, same with Digital Destruction on Long Island that they had. Maybe he was getting drunk, and yeah, it's a case of the alcohol, man. The guy was getting drunk. He rightfully should have got out there, and I knew about it because one of my boys, Nick Hershon, who's the author of We Want Fish Sticks about the New York Islanders, was in attendance for that show, and he even saw it. He thought it was nuts. So I'm like, dude, I don't know what's up with people. Like the Ring of Honor thing, the Impact stuff, I think it's just a bit of intoxication, just people being idiots.
Now, the thing that happened with the ring post, is there something in that says that there was a new ring crew, anything going on there? Because I mean, I've been to indie shows where there's been maybe 20-25 people, and the ring was better set it than that. I mean, we actually matched on the floor and stuff like that. It was a fiasco 2 weeks ago or last month from the Philly tapings where they were trying to go crazy pulling the mask down because people were putting masks in the wrong places. And then Crappy has masks at that.
I think they have a new ring crew, and I'm not going to say his name, but the guy who used to work on the Impact ring crew, who is now AEW bound, I think they liked him better. They thought him and his crew did a better job. I think they got a new crew, and this new crew that they got is just, yeah, they suck. Or they just don't know what the hell that they're doing, and they don't have enough experience like that gentleman's crew did. But who knows, man? I think it's just a changing of the guard as far as the ring crews go.
Damn. Well, that sucks. That sucks if you are more of an expert ring crew than a different ring crew, and other ring crews doesn't know much, then why the hell did you become a ring crew?
Who the fuck knows? I think it's out with the old in with the new. Like, look at Atlas Security. Atlas Security did ECW. They were doing the AEW shows. I mean, they're great security out there.
Yes.
I mean, look at them.
Yes. And they were the ones that did the Philly tapings, Atlas Security.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how can you not have Ronnie Lane coming in there just tackling people because Ronnie has that no fucks given about him?
Yeah. And they also, I believe they did the New York tapings too. That's why that dude was kicked out quick. The guy who was hassling the announcers there.
So, I'll be honest with you, dude. I was at those Westbury shows when TNA at the time was there in 2008. Atlas Security was on them. My God, they would get you quick out of that building. Jesus.
Yeah. So, you know, that's it. And then I was thinking of of the good news. But the good news is, you know, Impact Wrestling is still doing their shows. The shows are still going on. The action is still going, and now there was a rumor that I put on yesterday, and I asked questions because I had read it about how after Slammiversary there's no taping setup. And then I have put the question on Twitter, on the Bodega Wrestling page on Twitter. Don't forget to follow us, about what do people think this means going forward. Was there like a resetting of things? Maybe they were taking those 2 weeks of break to really focus on getting a TV deal if they haven't done yet. Maybe sitting down and say, okay, guys, what's working, what's not working? Who are we going to push? Who do we want as champions? Who do we need to come in, sort things out in the back, have those 2 weeks to really focus on the product before they go to Windsor for the July 19 and 20 tapings. So my question is, Mr. Larkin, from your expertise, because I know we saw things like this happen before at WCW on film when they reset it and become new champions. Well, this is gonna be a brand new day. We're gonna change things, blah 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 blah. And Dixie Carter with her little backstage promos that were on tape. Well, this is my company, and if you don't like it,
get the hell out.
Change, get out. Type of thing. What do you think this break is gonna do, if anything? And what do you think? Why now they're doing this break in the middle of July and not usually towards the end of the year when we have the 2 weeks off because of Christmas and New Year's?
I think maybe it's just a cool down period for them because they've been going hard in the paint. I think that's what it is for the wrestlers. I think hopefully they're going to try to look for a new TV deal, but I don't know. I think it's just like a reset, and people they need a break because they've been going hard. I think they just want to give a break to their talents for the summer. I really don't know what they could air in there. They could do some best stubs, or they could do like a highlights of the start and going into the mid of 2019. They could do like a little best of for the start of the year, like the midway point, and then you could do the rest of the year and the end of the year for their best ofs. But I don't know, dude. I think it's just they want them to relax, reset, like you mentioned.
Well, the thing is, 2 questions there about them getting breaks. They only work twice a month. Well, how much break do you need? And we see them more in other companies like MLW wrestling more. I see them more at MLW than I see them on Impact. That's one. And 2, I think they were saying that it's gonna be like reaction videos from before and after the matches from Slammiversary for those next 2 weeks. From what I read.
Or maybe they're trying something different. Let's see, instead of like doing tapings, let's take these reaction videos. Let's see what the fans have to say. Maybe they just want to try something different. Who knows what goes on in their heads? But maybe that's another possibility of it.
Yeah, but like I say, you wrestle twice a month for our show, which is 4 weeks of tapings. Then you're off, and then you either chill because they're giving you enough money for your contract, or you go and wrestle for other companies, AEW. House of Glory, House of Hardcore, stuff like that. But you see them more outside than you see them here. So how much break do you want them to take?
That's true. I don't know, man. I think let's just see how it unfolds after Slammiversary happens, man, which we already have some of the matches announced. Do you mind if I just go through the card?
Go right ahead, please, yes.
Okay, so far for Slammiversary, now I'm not going to give the spoiler ones that came out. I'll just say what we actually have announced so far. This is a spoiler-free podcast, so no spoilers.
Exactly, no spoilers, folks.
All right. Rich Swann and Johnny Impact for the X Division title. Brian Cage and Michael Elgin for the World title. And it looks like, since he did make the challenge on Impact, Moose versus Rob Van Dam. Okay. That's it so far.
I think Elgin will beat Cage.
Okay.
I see Johnny winning the X Division title.
Okay.
And what was the third one?
Rob Van Dam and Moose.
Oh man, you know something? If Rob Van Dam doesn't pull Moose over, I mean, 47 years old with Moose, whatever. Moose was in the early 30s. Changing out the guard thing. I'm going for Moose, even though, my God, I said that out loud.
Wait a minute,
I just thought about it right now when I just said it. Oh, my God.
Wait a minute, Jorge, can you please repeat that?
Oh, my God.
Moose is your favorite.
I just cut myself when I said it. Oh, I just got a headache.
Well, I was gonna say I thought you would pick Rob Van Dam because of who his girlfriend is.
I was. Oh well, but yeah, and people know I'm not a Moose fan, but yeah, man, come on now. I forgot her name.
Katie Forbes.
Oh, Katie Forbes. My goodness, if that woman is 100% natural in every angle, Coke bottle. I want to thank the Lord, God, Jesus, Buddha, every stars up above, because if she's 100% real, they made a masterpiece in Katie Forbes. Mm-hmm. If it's real, I mean, if the parts are fake, then she bought the stuff. But if the stuff is real, oh my goodness, a lot of women should be built in that type of mold. And yes, I chose Moose because, like I said, if RVD is there, he's gonna be 48 pretty soon. There's not too much future or too much to put on you going forward. I do not want to see any type of build on RVD at all. But if he's there to win some matches, help the young people out, like I'm hoping he is, then I see Moose winning the match. But we'll do our, you guys will do your thing later on for the Slammiversary pre-show. Yeah. So, Mr. Larkin, anything else that we kind of left up by mistake?
Briscoes against Cabana and Magnus.
Oh, yeah. NWA versus ROH. The Briscoe brothers threw down the gauntlet to the NWA, and they're saying, we're coming for you guys, and we're going to destroy you guys. And also, I just remember with Dominion at New Japan, God won again, and they defeated LIJ, yes. and they had the little post-match cursing.
I saw that.
Where they want new competition, blah 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 blah, and the Briscoes, we beat you once, we beat you twice. Now the Briscoes wants them in a no disqualification match coming up. One of their shows coming up, so that should be interesting if the Ring of Honor belts come back to Ring of Honor, because it's weird them not having their tag team championship there, and both of the guys are in Japan. So yeah,
I can't wait. I really cannot wait for that. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff with wrestling. I mean, I know we said at the beginning it all blends together, but there's a lot that we have to look forward to.
Yes. So, Mr. Larkin, I mean, any parting wishes, any lyrics you want to drop on us? And of course, do your spiel, please. Let everybody know where they can follow you. Drop everything, baby.
All I gotta say is you can hate me now, but I won't stop now. Boom. But as far as my,
I like that one. I like that.
Thank you. As far as my plug goes, the inaugural edition of the LFC podcast with Jesse El Toro Santos, you can check that out. It's on my Twitter. It's on LFC's Twitter at SM Show 1 and at LFC MMA. And if you guys want to follow Jesse El Toro Santos, her link is in there. It's at Jesse El Toro on Twitter, LFC. So anyway, as I was saying, that episode is out. SoundCloud for LFC is just soundcloud.com/LFC. A lot of those shows will be on there. We're working to get on more platforms. I love what I'm doing with LFC MMA. Please check them out on Twitter at LFC MMA. It's a great mix of mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, kickboxing, and jiu-jitsu. A lot of familiar names you will see on lingeриefc.com that have gone on to the WWE and many forms of professional wrestling, who have been in the WWE and more. We have a newcomer coming in who is, I'm going to put this out there just because I can, a newcomer who's actually been doing her thing in the pro wrestling game. She has a new name. You'll see it on the lingeриefc.com page. You can follow her at The Gemma Cross on Twitter. Hell of a talent. We look forward to her first fight. Dude, just check out LFC MMA at SM Show 1 on the Twitter. SoundCloud MC Larkin92. SoundCloud's LFC. StephenMikeShow.com. Instagram's Larkin_92. Check out Bodega. Check me out on Max Wrestling UK. Just check me out. I'll be around. I'm like the Spinners. Oh, yeah.
He'll be around, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, once again, the Bodega Wrestling. Check them out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Check that little ring bell. The bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ding, ding, dong. Yeah. I wanted to be like Larkin, but I don't have the same voice as him.
Well, dude, I got to also mention this one other thing before you start doing your spiel. If you guys want to see Katie the Bombshell Forbes take on Sheila Crash Cardinal. That was also at our last LFC event. She won in the main event. Very bootylicious. That's all good, right?
Yes. So ring the bell. And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Bodega Wrestling. Guys, for myself, the quintessential Puerto Rican Muffin, Jorge, and my sidekick co-host, Mr. Larkin, we wish you a good day, and we will see you again next week.